welcome to this week's episode of What's on My Mind. I'm your host, Victoria Robinson. I am beyond thrilled about my guest today. This woman is not only the best-selling comedian, female, in the country, in the world, like the best-selling. She is an author. I think the last count was 6 books. I'm not sure if she's got more than that by now. There's no telling. She's one of the busiest women I know. She is Christian comedian, none other than Chonda Pierce. And my favorite part about Chonda, not just that she makes me belly laugh and that she makes you belly laugh, she's still touring and selling out crowds all over the country. I don't know how long later. I don't know how long she's been doing this. Decades. But my favorite title is She's My Friend. And I met Chonda many years ago, and she's just one of those people that I like to get real with, and she likes to get real with me. And I just am humbled, honored, and blessed to call her my good friend. So without further ado, I want to bring in my friend and yours, Chonda Pierce. Hello. So wild. I am so excited. I mean, I cannot wait to hug you in 2023 because we haven't seen each other all year.
I know, all year. This is the longest year we've ever gone.
I'm telling you, it's the longest time ever. And what has it been? Not even 2 weeks.
Yeah. You know what? I tell you what's so funny is today I've been unpacking because I just moved into a house. Yeah.
Yes.
And long awaited, 3 years we've been building this house.
Has it been that long?
Well, COVID paused,
Right.
COVID paused. But anyway, so I'm going box after box after box, and I finally find my lighted makeup mirror, and I get it out and trying to get, some makeup on before we do this. And I thought, I don't look that bad. And so then, but then you flip it to the big, magnified thing, and like you're looking at craters on the moon is what your face looked like. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't fixed my face in weeks because I'm just
think you look beautiful. You always light up a room, Chonda Pierce. Chonda Ruth. You do, and you look beautiful, and I've been waiting to do this with you for so long, and I know we've talked about it before, and here you are, and you're at your and there's the baby, there's your baby right there.
I'm sorry, I have no babysitter today. Murphy.
No, Murphy is fine. He is more than welcome. But you know what? You're at the cabin because of the house.
Yeah.
And 3 years, I didn't realize it'd been that long, but I guess you're right. COVID paused it. I cannot wait to see it. I've been keeping up with it on Facebook with the pictures. And you invited me out there. It's been about 1.5 years that I came and saw the property. Yes. Maybe longer.
Yeah.
And it is stunning.
Just barely gotten the skeleton up.
Yes.
What I call
yes.
It.
And I love it out there at your funny farm.
It's a labor of love. My friends, including you, were all a little worried about me because it's very out in the middle of nowhere.
Isolated.
Very isolated. And I have a horrible problem with that anyway. I do that terribly. What was so handy is when you and I were living in the same building, that was good because you wouldn't let me. You would come up and bang up my door. Yeah.
That's funny because we lived in a high rise, Chonda and I, years ago. And I was on the 4th floor. So I could see the lake, the river and everything. It was a beautiful view, but she was on the penthouse suite at the very, very top. So she could see friggin' down to downtown Nashville. And this place was in Nashville City.
Yeah.
But I remember many times you would text me and say, hey, Vic, I'm having a bad day. Yeah. I'm having a bad night. And it'd be like 9, 10 o'clock at night sometimes. And I'd be like, I'm on my way. And I'd just go up there, put on my bedroom shoes, get in the elevator, take it up to the 10th floor. And we would have some come to Jesus meetings and talks and girl time. And I miss that.
You and I have so much in common. We have some common pain. And when you have a friend that shares common pain, not that neither one of us ever waddle in it, but and we don't stroke it, you know what I mean? But it makes you know that someone you can trust, someone that really says, I know how you feel, then you believe them. And the other thing we have in common is we don't date much.
Let's tackle that a little bit, Chonda, because we're both women that are mature, and we both. I mean, I'm 58 now. I'm
I'm a little
58
more
now.
mature than you. I'm a little more.
Not much. And I think when we do date, after we go on a date, it's like, yeah, I see why I don't do that.
Exactly. You know,
Because I gotta go ahead,
you've
Shonda.
had
I
it
want to
way
hear,
more than I have if the world would know. However, I
but not much.
yeah, I am not in a. I don't know about you, but I just met with a friend yesterday who's newly widowed. She's been widowed a year and a half. She's had 4 dates. I said,
Already?
I've been widowed for 8 years. I've had 3 dates in 8 years.
I was just gonna say, and I haven't been widowed but single for 12. And I don't, maybe I've had 4 dates, but
Yeah.
wow, girlfriend, what's she doing?
Well, she's also very skinny, very beautiful, and very rich. You know, so if I was a
Now
guy,
wait, where's she meeting these guys?
that's what I told her. I said, for me, and I won't tell you who she is because then we're not disclosing anything. But as for me, I don't go clubbing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't go. My favorite place to eat in the world when I've got a little extra change is Bob's.
Vicolo. Oh, Bob's. I thought you were gonna say Vicolos.
Well, Vocolo's is always, and Vocolo's
Yes.
everyone can afford. But Bob's is downtown Nashville. If I got a little extra change,
Oh.
rubies, and that's nice because if you are going to meet a man there, they can afford it too.
At the wrong places. So Taco Bell's not a good place for me. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm sure there's wonderful people at Taco Bell.
I'm sure there are.
But so back to that, we were saying I don't go clubbing. I am not in an atmosphere to meet someone. I go to a very small church now. You know what I mean? Very small compared to the years I went to World Outreach, and the years I went to World Outreach to this great big mega charismatic church. I was married. So
Right.
I wasn't really looking. I mean, I noticed, if you know what I mean. But
well, we're not dead.
Yes, right. So, but it just and I think for women of a certain age, and we are bold, loud women. We have jobs where a few people every now and then hate our guts. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yep. We have intimidating jobs, I don't know why that is. I think I also, when I was evaluating this with my friend yesterday, I think men our age, one, they're looking for women about 20 years younger because that's what they think they deserve. Secondly, I think they're established men. They've had careers. They probably not even retired. I don't think. I haven't met a man my age that's really, really retired. But they are the generation who had helpmaids, if that makes sense. Remember that old-fashioned term for a wife, the helpmaiden, which is nothing wrong with that, and it's very biblical, But and so they're the men that's looking for that, and we don't give off that vibe.
We don't. And the thing is, I'm a pro-life speaker.
Yeah. In this stage of my life, mine is I set the cereal out for you. Wake me up at night.
You know what, Shonda, let's give a little background because some people may not know what I'm a pro-life leader. So I speak around the country and I am a very outspoken activist on pro-life issues and abortion. You are a Christian comedian by the way, I want to tell you, I'm always so encouraged by you because, people with your platform, they're few and far between that are speaking out on the issues that matter, especially as Christians, but you're not one of them who just sits back and keeps her mouth shut, which is one of the things I love about you. You're bold and you're speaking truth. You're speaking truth, as we all should be as Christians. But you're absolutely right, Chonda, because we do that. And I had a conversation recently. So tell me what you think about this. So this friend, it was a gentleman, just a friend. And I said to him, I get asked out on dates, but not as people are always saying, I'll bet you get asked out all the time. No, I don't. And he said, you want me to tell you why? I said, sure. I'd love to hear a man's perspective. And he said what you just said. Vic, you're intimidating. Men are afraid of strong women. They think that you don't need them because you're successful in your craft and you don't really need a man. And that you're not, they convince themselves she's not approachable, but what they don't understand is they don't really know you. And this is a friend who I've known for years. He said, that is the total opposite of who you are. You are a woman who's strong and opinionated, but you're just inside a girl looking for a
Yes.
guy to love her. And you're the same way, Chonda.
I would hope so. You know what's interesting about, we try to teach our boys, and you had all girls, but I tried to teach
Yeah.
my son to be that leader of a home like his father was. I tried to teach him that to open the door for a woman and all of that. Well, we lost a couple of generations of that. We had guys who now, and he gets intimidated by all women. He doesn't know whether he's supposed to open the door. He's going to get his face slapped. You know what I mean? Mama taught me to say yes, ma'am. Last time he said that to a woman, she about cussed him out. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so, yeah, so we were stuck in that learning curve. But I think for me, a 35 or 40-year-old man would probably love our strength.
Yeah.
They would probably be flattered by it, and hey, they'd want to go golfing with us and take off the day. And but men my age, I'm not what do they call those? The older woman and dating the younger guy.
Oh, the cougar? No, that's
cougar,
is that a cougar? Yeah, cougar. Yeah.
I'm not a tiger or cougar.
I'm not either. I'm not
interested in raising another man, but I do realize that the men my age come from our old generation of thinking, and so, which is not a bad thing, because they were doing well. I married one, so he was great, so, but I think we come from that old generation of thinking, and when they get this age, they're an established man that needs a woman on his arm, and which
it's like it's a trophy. They call it a trophy for a reason, Chonda.
I guess, but I had a date. This is one of the first dates I had after I was widowed, and I didn't go out for several years, because widowhood and divorce is two totally different aloneness. There's some processing that has to take place in widowhood. When you're going through a divorce, there's an also big process, especially if there's children involved. And I'm preaching to the choir, but there's a process through that. But sometimes a new companionship is invited, because it's like, I have got to have faith in humanity again, so let me get back out there. If you're a widow, you're like, you go through that period of feeling like you're cheating on your husband, even though he's dead.
Right.
You go through that period of, I'll never find another one, or you want to curl up and mourn. Or if you're not mourning enough, you think, oh, he deserves more mourning, And but once that process was a little bit better, and I went out with somebody, and I met him online, trying to do it my girlfriend suggested. And everything went okay. Wasn't the bells and whistles didn't go off, and stars in my eyes, but he was a very nice man. But just before we left the table, he said, "Hey, I want to get a picture with you just to commemorate our night." I said, "Oh, thank you." He goes, "Plus, I can't wait to tell people I took out Chonda Pierce." And it just killed me. And I said, well, it was nice meeting you. In my head, I went, "It was nice meeting you." And then I never went out with him again. It was. He tried. Have you ever been out with somebody where they're trying so hard to act like you're nobody that it almost gets obnoxious?
Well, I am nobody. I mean,
like when you're getting ready to order, you order whatever you want. I mean, you're Chonda Pierce, or you think you're Chonda Pierce. You don't intimidate. They say it so many times.
Yeah.
That you go, okay.
Oh, right. Yeah. What I think find interesting too is, have you had men where they'll say to you, "Gosh, I mean, I don't even get why you even would come out with me," and it's like,
so tired of that.
Okay, and that's another thing where I want to say, check, please. I'm not looking for a boy. I'm looking for a confident man. So that drives me insane too. Plus, it's like,
yes, I had a bowel movement this morning, so I feel fine going out.
I'm doing that one next time. I'm so glad we're talking about the dating thing. I didn't know we were going to go here this quick, but I love that. That's what I love about our conversations. We just go there, because Chonda, we could literally write a book about dating at our age. And you're so right what you say about these older men. When younger guys in their 40s, and I've had late 30s ask me out. My oldest daughter's 40. So when I have guys in their 40s ask me out, and who ask me out more than the men our age, I always turn them down, and they sometimes get a little perturbed, and they want to know why. And I say, do you even know who the Eagles are? Do you even understand what happened in the 70s? Can you recite Hotel California? And so but they don't get it, Chonda. But here's what I
is not just a pair of boots.
Yes, it's like they don't get it, but I have not ever been one attracted to younger men. But here's what they'll say, and I'll bet you hear the same thing. But you don't act your age. You don't look your age. You don't come across as like the age of my grandmother or mother or whatever. And then I'm like, but I am. And you're still too young for me. Plus, my daughter's 40. I'm not dating some guy that would date her. But the point is, they are more interested in hanging around with women like us. I never thought about it till you said that. They appreciate that we know what we want. That's a good thing. Yes. That we're not playing games. Another good thing, because men complain about women doing that. But I have friends, Chonda, that are our age who now later on, they're out there dating the women in their 30s and 40s. And then they're calling me saying, Vic, she wants to get married and have kids. I'm like, no, does, stupid. Of course she does.
Yes.
I mean, what did you expect? Exactly. Of course she had, and she has every right to do that. And now you want me to help you get out? One guy said to me, I can't marry her, Vic. She wants to get married. He was in his late 40s, early 50s, and she was in her 28, I think. She wants kids. I've got grown kids. I'm like, then why are you still dating her? Well, guess what? He married her. They had a baby. Guess who's miserable?
Yeah.
It's not that he doesn't love his baby, but now he's starting over at 63, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, look, I have a few prerequisites. What are yours, Chonda, as if you have any? Okay, I know we're going to both laugh and say, as long as he's breathing and he's got it and he's really a man.
Or his own teeth. I'd like him to have his own teeth.
These days, you better start asking. When you're eating, I'll have the chicken Parmesan, and you are a man, right? I mean, these days, I'm not trying to be funny, but God, it is funny.
I was going to say, when you were talking a minute ago, I was going to say, well, I went out with a 40-year-old, but it didn't work because I reached over and cut his meat for him, and he was like...
Oh my gosh. Well, tell me about a date. Tell us about a date that you have not ever forgotten.
Wow.
Something that was either funny or disaster.
Oh, well, golly, I haven't had any. I mean, I did that just for lunch thing.
Oh, yeah. I've never done that.
The online thing. One, it was stupidly expensive. And finally, I think they were getting close to that, like if they don't fix you up with somebody, they have to give your money back or something. And it was getting close to that margin. And so they called, we have someone who would like to meet you for lunch. And I went in, and Melanie and Glenda were over behind a bush, on the other side of the restaurant. I was so nervous. Yes.
Oh God, I love them girls.
Yeah. And then I sit at the little booth, where I was supposed to be. And he comes in, slides in, acts like he's late, takes off his sunglasses. He goes, I haven't done this in a long time. They just call me when they can't, kind of match people up. So what's good here? That was his first remark sitting in the bench. And I just said, you don't have to eat lunch with me. That's fine. I've got girlfriends over there. And he's like, no, I eat lunch with you. I mean, well, how come it's so hard to match you up with people?
He said that to you?
I didn't really know it was.
Yeah. He said that to you.
Yes. So I don't know.
I'd have taken that fork, Chonda.
But
and I'm not a violent person, but I would have taken that fork to him.
But I did. I got up and I put $20 on the table to pay for my coffee, and I left.
And you left?
I did. Yeah. And the
girls for you.
What did he say? What did he say? They thought he had said something tawdry or something. And I go, no, he was just acting like this was the worst thing he had to stop and do today. And I said, so I am so busy. I've got plenty I can go do,
But Chonda, that says a lot more about him. That's the thing than you. That the thing for us as women, and I know we're women and we've been through a lot in our lives. And so we have wisdom that younger ones don't, but we're still women. And so, and we still have.
It's still lonely.
It is.
It's how you slice it or how you try to fill your life up with other things. It's lonely.
Yep. It is. I've got a great family. I've got all my grandkids nearby.
Yeah.
I have great friends like you, but it is still, there's still, there's still that missing element
Well,
of the
I
loneliness.
yeah, when I considered, there was a time when I first got widowed, and if anybody's listening and remembers me in those days, this is your public apology. I had this desperate feeling of I don't want to die alone. I had this when I was first widowed. I was terrified. And I felt this desperation. I mean, actually, this desperation of clawing, of going, okay, of trying, I got to get out there. I got to make something happen because I'm going to be
Yeah.
alone. This is going to be awful. This is going to be awful. When that fear and panics began to subside, and I started giving into the process of grieving and giving into the acceptance of where I am now and what's it going to look like. And now, how do I hold my head up and begin to learn how to take care of myself in some of the areas where my husband was great? How do I do that? Who do I call to change the oil? You know what I mean? How, and when do you do that to the car? And I started getting very serious about taking care of me. That thing shifted for me. And then it became not so desperate, or I don't have to have someone. I
Yeah.
would really enjoy it. And I think I would be a really great, I think I'd be a better wife than I was the first time around. I'd be smarter. You know what I mean? I learned, David and I were kids. You know what I mean? So we grew up together and we went through ups and downs. And his last few years was not good for either one of us. We had pain at home with a child, and it was just, so I said to somebody the other day, I would not want him back until things changed with this
Right.
particular child I have, because I wouldn't want him to just drop right back into that same pain. It's just horrible. But now that I'm on this side of a lot of it, I'm okay. But you're right. But we still get lonely.
And
I thought I had fallen in love. I really did. It was someone that's known me for years, that worked for me for years.
okay.
And
This was since David.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I go back and back with that. And he would tell me every night before we'd hang up the phone, yeah, I love you. I'm so proud of you that you're making it, and we're going to get through this. And we'd go to dinner, and it was wonderful. And, maybe a kiss goodnight, but just took it slow, and it felt good. And I put a lot of hopes and dreams into that, in my emotions, in my heart.
Yeah.
And he said, we can never date because we worked for each other. He worked at an agency that booked me. We could never date. And so I was like, okay, then you're fired. As a joke. Well, it turns out that whole company, went away and everything. And I, like an idiot, sit anxiously knowing, oh, now he can. My phone's going to ring any minute. And it never did. And I never saw him again, and he never called again. And it broke my heart. It was like a heartbreak that you have in high school. You know what I mean? For me, it just broke my heart. But I look back at that, and I do think he handled things wrong. You should never tell a woman, especially a widowed woman, how much you love her. I mean, you could say, hey, I admire you and everything, but don't use the L word. So
exactly. Yeah.
So there were some things I think he could have done differently, and the way kind of, being led on a little bit. But I also look at realizing I probably read more into a lot of things than I really needed to, only because of fighting that desperate feeling of being alone. Yeah. Chances are, and I'm not, I don't need scripture. People are going to start sending us notes, as you know they will. But chances are I will die alone. But I won't be alone. I will always be with the Lord. It's the same thing with building this house. I can't tell you how many people said, oh, you're forever home. This is so exciting. I'm so happy for you. And I go, no, it's not my forever home. I'm going to live here till Jesus comes. But my forever home is got many mansions, many rooms, beside the Lord. If it weren't so, I would have told you, because he's gone to prepare a place for me. And
that's exactly right.
I'm kicked out. Yeah. So, so I go, no, this is not my forever home. It's wonderful. And I feel like I've really fulfilled a lifelong dream. I feel content in it. It's not a big mansion. It's certainly not the Amy Grant Ranch, but it's my funny farm. Yeah. And so all that to say there's a lot of accomplishment in that. And when that happens to you, when you go through a spell of time of going, look what I have done. Like when I got the occupancy letter that said, and the deed, and it said Chonda Pierce and how much the house was appraised for, blah, blah. And that's all. And I teared up and I told Linda, our girlfriend, I said, that looks so sad. It's the first time I've ever had a deed of anything that didn't have David's name on it. And she says, don't you be sad. Look what you did all by yourself.
Yeah.
And then that made me feel a lot better going, yes, I did. And if I die alone in that house, one, I'll be in heaven. I won't care. But two, I will roll over right before I take my last breath and go, look what I made it by myself. And I did okay.
I love that, Chonda. And you know what? I think where I've come, and I think you're in the same place. Yes, we have our moments of feeling like, oh, I'm alone, or I'm going to another event and I'm the only one that's not a couple. I have those moments. I know you have them. But all in all, our identity is in Christ. And all in all, we're content. And I like to say now, but I do believe though, Chonda, if you and I continue to have the desire in our heart to be married one day, that would mean our Jesus is pretty cruel to put that desire there and not take it if he's not going to fulfill that. So the fact that we still have the desire to be loved by a man one day, to love a man back. And I do agree with you. The men that end up with us whenever it is 5-10 years from now, maybe it's the last few years of our life, will be the luckiest men on the planet. Because the thing about women like us, Chonda, is we have gone through life and it's brought us to where we are today. A friend just said to me yesterday, she said, Vic, I've really enjoyed your post you've put up about marriage and being single lately. And she said, I don't know if you realize the people you're impacting on both of the that are in both categories. And she goes, and then she said, because of where you're at right now is why you're even able to write that way, because of where you are now. And it's going to help you appreciate even more the man God's sending one day. And I do think you're right, Chonda. You don't take advantage. When I see women taking advantage of good men they're married to, or men doing the same to women, it infuriates me. I want to shake him and go, do you even understand the gift you've got?
Yes.
The gift,
and how fragile. It's how fragile life is. It's this God went above the agape love, which is like the greatest, but he went above that to give you a desire and intimacy for one human being. That's pretty powerful. That's like lightning in a bottle, you know, and holding it in. And I'm the same way with you. I just want to slap some women that'll say derogatory things about their men. And I pray, Lord, was I ever that way? And I don't think I was. I think I was a pretty good wife. Now, I was gone too much. You know, if I'd known he was going to die at 53, blah, blah. But I've gone through all that regret. No, it's over. You know, I can't change it. All that to say, I'm like you. It's just not the human element of it that you're hurting a human being or you're not appreciating a human being. I want to go, you're not appreciating this incredible thing that God created to make a man and a woman attracted to each other, that you would give your life for each other, that you would give an organ to keep them alive. You know what I mean? So you are not taking advantage of that, or you're not willing to work on that and fix that or make that better. I see couples throwing their hands up so quickly over the smallest things, and they get it. And I want to go.
It's unreal. And I'll tell you. You're exactly right, Chonda. And it's sad. It's sad when to see it, especially us knowing what today in 2022, 23, all the years we've been single, it is not the same as it was 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. It's not the same out here. And people don't realize, they're thinking, oh, I want to be single for the grass is greener, all that bull crap. And they do not understand what they've got. They need to nurture. Now, I'm not talking about being in abusive marriages and habitual adultery.
Be a jerk, get out.
Exactly. I'm not talking about that. And I know we're not advocating that, but we're saying some of you are throwing your hands up way too soon because you're bored or whatever. He ate his food wrong, or he didn't put the dishes away the way you want it. It's just stupid stuff. So I want to tell you this, that I have come to a place in the last several years of my life where I've said to the Lord, I'm not looking for my husband. If you're going to send a husband, let him find me.
Mm.
I am going to continue doing the work you've called me to do and be busy about my Father's business. And if he shows up because you send him, praise God, let me recognize him.
Yeah.
So now, Chonda, for me, and I'm going to speak this over you, because maybe you've never thought of it this way. I am content being single.
Yeah.
I am content in the I am content in the waiting.
Yes.
I'm not content being single because God's continued to put that desire in my heart. So that means to me, he's coming. I don't know when, but if God's not a God who's going to torture us and say, oh, I know that what desire you have in your heart. And because he says in his word, I will work together all good for those who love me. I will give you the desires of your heart. So if we have the desire to have a partner in our life and not die alone, he knows that, Chonda.
Yes.
So don't say you're going to die alone unless that desire is gone. And I know you, girl, it's not gone. So I know you well, baby girl.
Well,
and so I think
that are good. A good meal together is good, but
it's companionship. At our age, it's not like young people. Oh, they think one way. It's not about sex. It's not about those things. Those are beautiful things God created, but it's about companionship. It's about, because we have other great people in our life, but there's still that need, that void that only a life partner can fill.
Yes.
And that's why you people who have girlfriends you hang out with and you've got a great man at home, you're missing it.
Yeah.
You are totally missing it because God's brought that together. So I like to say, I'll say it one last time, I am content in the waiting. But while I have this desire still in my heart that maybe one day I am no longer content being single.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm sure not out there looking everywhere either, Chonda. We'll let them find us as well. God will bring that together. That's the last thing.
Yeah, you go through that desperate moment, and I did.
Sure you do. And that's when you sign up for online dating.
I try to, every time I go to Walmart, I try to do my hair and get my lipstick on it just in case. Mr. Right is there greeting people in the door. You go through that of going, I hate that guy.
You do.
The guy comes to fix the cable at the house, and I'm running to brush my hair real quick in case that's
because we're romantics in our mind. We're women. We watched too many soap operas and Cinderella movies growing up. And you know what? That's not. And it could happen that way, Chonda. I mean, people have met on airplanes. I've never met on an airplane. I just have the baby sitting next to me when I travel. But I hear about people who've met on airplanes.
Maybe I'll meet somebody on one of these movies I do, or I just did a movie that comes out in February. It's just a one-night thing called The Confession. It's a musical.
I know, and I cannot wait to see it, Chonda.
It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But then finally, the movie that we shot in Ashland City is supposedly coming out in April. So I'm excited about that. And I keep thinking one of these Hallmark movies.
Wait, which one's the one coming out in April? That's called what?
Roll With It.
Yes, that's the other one I want. I mean, I love, you're near and dear to me. So I love watching you do all your stuff, especially your stand up. You make me pee my pants. But seriously,
that could be our age.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But
very true.
I posted this week on my Facebook page something. I was just laying in bed and it came to me, and I said, disappointment is a way of life, it seems like, or parts of life. And I have had disappointment in a lot of different ways. Disappointment in a career decision, or you got looked over on something, or disappointment in a date that just didn't pan out to be what you wanted. But it's the way you handle yourself in that disappointment. That's what will show your character.
Yeah.
But discrimination is a whole nother thing. If you're discriminated against because of your age, if you're discriminated against because of, I call myself a Christian comic, if you're discriminated against because of your worldview about pro-life and pro-choice, if you're discriminated in those areas, then it shows the character of the person discriminating against you.
Yeah, that's good.
And so don't be that person. Accept people for what they believe, for their opinion, for their age, for where they are, for who they love, for how old they are. Accept people like they are, and then let God teach you to love them into a new thought or a new idea. And I put that on my Facebook page, and I got 2 or 3 email texts like from you, Glenn, everybody going, what happened? What happened? I go, I was just waxing eloquent one night. I'm fine, you know. And that is the key. That is the key to being alone, that you have people in your life, even if it's just one person. And now we don't live in the same building, but it's like what we started out saying, that one person that you can be honest enough with going, this is not a good day, and they're in their car and on their way over, or they do not, then don't hang up the phone. We're going to talk through this. We've done that a lot riding down the road.
We have. Yes, we have.
I'm on the way to the airport. I need to talk through this, you know. So that is the key, is to find that and go after it. And because the Bible says, be ye not unequally yoked together. So the opposite means find someone to be yoked with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, find somebody, a girlfriend or somebody with like-mindedness that understands where you are and your station in life, and then grow that and encourage that and be there for one another. And I can say I am very, very blessed with that because of Victoria Robinson.
Oh, Chonda, I love that. And I want you back again on this show. I want you to come back. I would love to have you back again soon.
We only
and we
got
can talk.
one topic. We have so many.
I know. So that's what I'm saying. We have to do this again. Plus, I know everyone's going to love this and love you. And I, too, am thankful to have you in my life, and what a blessing you've been. And I love those phone calls when I get from you. I've told you this many times when you've said, I don't want to bother you. Don't rob me of the blessing of letting me be of letting me help you through whatever journey you're on, because God put you in my life for a reason, and vice versa. Versa versa. And I can't wait to get on that bus with you this year and go. And that's always a good time. But I love you. Thank you for what you've done for people for decades and made them smile and laugh and think about other things instead of just the trivial day-to-day stuff called life, which we're all experiencing and we're just trying to get through. And one day, girlfriend, I'll leave it at this. I'll be at your wedding and you'll be at mine. I love you.
Love you. Bye, darling.
Oh my gosh, you guys, that was my beautiful friend Chonda Pierce. I promise you I will have her back. I know you're going to enjoy this episode, and she's just a joy to me. And you know, her and I are far, far from perfect. That's for sure. But I'm so grateful when God brings people into your life that become friends that you know will get in the car, drive on over when you need them, or they'll get on an elevator and take it up to the 10th floor. God bless you guys. Thanks for watching. And that is what was on my mind.